Hi there, if you just tune in, good morning. Now it's the CGTN live at Beijing at the central bit of the city, the Forbidden City, now known as the Palace Museum. We're live here and we bring you to another spring outing and to enjoy the flower, the sunshine of the spring day in Beijing. And here's my colleague, Nadim Diab, and we're live on CGTN Facebook, CGTN microblog and Weibo, and also you can find us on our application as well.
Live CGTN, right. So right now we've reached the Imperial Garden, which is in the inner court of the Forbidden City.
No problem. Quite a lot of the tourists around.
Of course. Yet again, if you have just tuned in to our live stream, the Forbidden City is the most visited tourist attraction in China. 17 million people, 17 million visitors, foreigners and locals every year. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for the garden. We're here to speak more about this majestic place. This is where the last 24 emperors in monarchist China lived in from 1406 to 1912. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. So far so good.
Right. So we are here in the inner court, as we said, because the Forbidden City is divided into two different sections, depending on the functions of these sections. The first one is the outer court, where we started our journey from, and that's where the ceremonies, the emperor would handle the big events. That's where the emperor would hold birthdays or weddings. They would mark certain occasions on the calendar, such as the winter solstice or the Chinese New Year. It's also there that they would have examinations as well as dispatch generals when they're going to war. So all of that happens in the outer court, and that's why the halls and palaces are very solemn, they're very formal. And right, you seem to be making a lot of friends.
Yeah, I mean, look at this idyllic place. I mean, I was a local I'm a local Beijing man, and I've visited the Forbidden City a couple of times. But probably because the last time when I was there was too small to notice such a beautiful place, especially it's in this fine spring day. I mean, look at the flowers, and this feeling is really interesting because this is actually the route, the lane upon which the emperors used to walk on. Right. Like you can sense this special connection with that thick history. And because Forbidden City is also known as a place shrouded in historic mysteries, and there's a lot of interesting rumors, speculations about it. But just look at the brightness now. And
it's a good day.
Yeah, and the colorful. I mean, the contrast of the colorful. Maybe we can have on the camera to look at the. 看一下树和红墙. You can see the green tree and also the white flowers on the tree, and also through it you can see the red wall and the yellow roof.
Red and yellow.
Exactly.
Red and yellow. Typical Forbidden City.
Yeah, and also the two colors that are mostly associated with China. I mean, red, of course, is all about China because we believe red symbols fire. And
it's auspicious. It's an auspicious color. It's about ceremonies. It's about happiness. So that's red.
But fundamentally, those two colors have very primitive meaning. Red means fire, and the fire is what helped humankind to grow from ancient time all the way to modern days. And yellow is the symbol of what? Yellow is the symbol first. We are bathing in, right? And second, on the earth, yellow is also the color of gold, right? So the gold is the agent on the earth of the sunshine. Without sunshine, there's no plant. Without plant, there's no human beings, right? So that's why the two colors are so important here in the Forbidden City. And now we're surrounded by young people. I mean, now they're just steeped in. They've come to have that taste of this ancient place. I mean,
it's more than just an ancient place. Again, this place was declared by UNESCO a World Heritage Site in 1987. This is also the world's largest preservation preservation of wooden structures from the ancient world. So this is much more than just a beautiful place. This is where the Chinese culture is. This is where imperial China, monarchist China, died. It was here because with Puyi Emperor in 1912, he was the last emperor of the Qing dynasty, but he was the last emperor ever. So there's more than just a beautiful place, you know, than just gardens and intricate details on, for example, incense burner. It's just more than that. It's just.
I mean, look at this place. Actually, the Imperial Garden is not the largest royal gardens in China. We're in Beijing.
No.
The design is really interesting. I mean, I just got a question from my editors at home asking how old about the trees. Actually, I got just the information for that. If we can zoom in a little bit to look at the trees.
Mr. Scientific.
Well, I just got my information from something else. Look at this protection, the fence set up around a tree to protect it from the harm. And there's a little red plague over there.
Yeah.
It says literally.
What does that mean?
Ancient old trees, and every tree here with the red plague means it is at least 300 years old.
Wow.
And there's also the plague.
So it's 300 years old.
A list.
Right. Yeah. And then in 3 years, the Gugong, or the Forbidden City, is going to turn 600 years.
So just the halfway through it, those trees grow that big from a very young time of it, and with the green tag on it, it means it's younger.
Just because there's no fences doesn't mean that we have to touch it.
No. So look at those things. I mean, just imagine the mandarins, the underlings, and the emperors and empresses. They used to walk around the imperial garden, maybe in contemplation, maybe thinking about the state of affairs.
Actually, the imperial garden, now that you're speaking about it, the imperial garden is where the emperor and the empresses used to come for leisure time. You know, whenever they have like a few minutes from their busy schedule, they used to come here. And actually, we're going to go in a few to a very special place where they specifically used to go to watch leaves in autumn falling. But we'll leave it for later because we're not there yet.
Yeah, look at those beautiful flowers over there. I mean, I think that's a mudan, one of the most famous flowers in China.
Right. So
be careful.
Yeah,
be careful.
please.
Yeah. Look.
So it's called mudan in Chinese, but it's peony in English. And this flower species used to be the national flower of China, if you didn't know.
I think this since Tang Dynasty, very ancient time.
Yes, it still holds high status in China, and it is nicknamed, let me get this, Heaven Fragrance and National Beauty. Peonies are very well known to be here at the Forbidden City, and I was asking a couple of friends the other day about the mudan, and they said that it's still highly regarded in China.
Yep. And I just got a question from Facebook followers asking that, what is the special flowers in your hometown? Okay,
so in my hometown, in my country, we don't have a special flower. We have a special tree. What?
No. I mean, look at that. Look at it. Now we can have the close contact with it. Right. Oops. So now the cameraman is trying to help you as closer.
What mudan looks like.
You know, somehow I can't touch it, but it feels like a paper. It's not. It doesn't look very real, but it's real. It's a plant.
It's real, all right.
Yeah, but look how made of a paper. So okay, back to that.
Yeah, there's no. We don't have. Okay, so I come from Lebanon, and we don't have an official or like a national flower, as far as I know. But we do have an official tree, and that tree is our emblem, which is the cedars. And the cedars are only found in Lebanon, a sort of specific kind.
Oh my God, just how huge that tree is. I mean, if I give it a hug, I don't think
I don't think that the tree would want you to give it a hug. And again, it's red means that it's over 300 years old.
It's older than my grandfather.
Right. But who's comparing anyway?
Well, the pine tree. I think I noticed that all pine tree because its character. It doesn't wither in winter time, so it's always being compared to a gentleman, like a gentleman who is able to stand or endure whatever difficulties that life might throw up on.
So let me get this straight. You're a journalist, you're a poet, and now you're a botanist?
Sometimes I can, because this is the third time we're doing this. I mean, it's a spring outing, and we've sent two of our editors with the CGTN Digital team to the Botanical Garden, and I happen to learn one thing or two from them.
Right, the Botanical Garden, which is in south of Beijing.
Yeah, a little bit far from here. Oh, be careful, there's a young lady over there. Sorry. Right. I mean, okay, so now we have another question. Who used to take care of these flowers? Do you have that knowledge for our audiences and the viewers?
I'm sure that the court was not short on personnel, whether court ladies, eunuchs, servants, who would take care of these gardens. It's definitely not the empress who would come in the morning, wake up, and then she would do it. There's always someone who would do it for her.
Funny you should mention about that.
And that's why she's royalty. And
but in Chinese history, in ancient time, imperial time, there's one emperor who was so frustrated by the court work. He actually
did it himself.
No, he retreated to because he was not interested in state affairs. He retreated to his own residence and to take care of planets and to grow carriage himself.
In the Forbidden City or outside the Forbidden City?
I think it's somewhere in the Forbidden City. But I need to check that out.
So you're telling me that
later.
an emperor did not like how things were being handled in the court, so he decided to take things into his own hands.
Yeah, he actually.
And then
I know this is a fact that he actually wrote a letter to one of his mandarins saying that, "Come and look how beautiful the carriage I've grown." Just imagine.
All right. So he was boasting about the fact that he has like a green hand.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, red, and then a bit more red.
Well, just look at that tiny structs. I mean, a lot of designs in the Imperial Garden actually is borrowed from the gardens in southern China, because in Ming and Qing dynasties, the emperors moved the capital from Nanjing, now in south of the Jiangsu province, all the way to Beijing.
Right. Nan means south. This is the crash course in Chinese.
Yes.
Nan means south. Bei means north. And Jing means capital.
Yes.
So Nanjing is capital of the south.
So the reason that they did that is because they believe if you have an emperor to live in a place so close to the frontier of the kingdom, it will actually help the emperor or the kingdom to make up their minds to concentrate all the energy to defend the kingdom against the nomads from the north, to the north of its frontier.
So that's why the Great Wall was erected to start with.
Exactly, but that also has its drawbacks, because that would mean the emperor would be far away from the beautiful south. And so that's why they decided to move to copy and paste, to use the modern term, the design.
No, I'm
the
sure that the north had its own beauty. China is a big country, and the south has its own characteristics in terms of natural habitat.
You will be surrounded daily by the things that you probably want something strange to stimulate your mind, because you need to stay awake. You need to get up every day just to take care of the. Could be one of them. Right. So now there's another thing probably we want to show you, because this you may not able to find it in anywhere apart from here. Do you know what this is?
This is a dragon.
Again, another guess.
Okay, this is a lion. A lioness.
I cannot say that you're.
It's a hybrid between a lion and a dragon.
That's correct. I mean, in China we call this the kirin. The kirin.
Okay.
It's not real. It's an invention. It's a fictional creature.
It's a hybrid.
Well, yes.
And of course, because the dragon never.
Look at the feature of its claw. That is a claw kind of, and also the and the skin of it is definitely comes from a dragon. Although a dragon is not real either, but the head looks a tiny bit like a lion.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a hybrid.
It's hybrid, and
between a lion
and at the end of it, the tail not just a lion, but it's also part of a fish. So
a part of a fish.
A fish, yes. So in Chinese mythology, a creature like this, if you could ever run into a real thing of this in real life,
hardly doubt that,
it would bring you the fortune of the whole world. And as much as it looks
would that be before it kills me or after it kills me?
Well, funny you should mention that, because as much as this kind of thing looks very aggressive because it has a lion's head and all the sharp teeth and the claws, but by nature, according to Chinese mythology, it's very, very mild.
It's very mild.
It won't hurt anybody.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
People are touching it.
I'm not sure that's allowed here. I mean, because...
No, but why are they touching it? Is it just curiosity, or do they think that they would get a blessing?
Well, because it's highly unlikely that you find the real thing in anywhere on Earth,
right.
Maybe in Mars in the future, who knows.
Right.
So the people actually believe that if you can touch it,
Can
not
we ask
just
them?
About why they're touching it.
Yeah. Is it just for a photo, or like, do they actually believe that if they touch it, they would get like some sort of prosperity or good fortune?
Well, let's them take the pictures first.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so many people touching it. I would guess that they believe that they could bring some huge fortune.
I'm sure that they're taking a collective photo right now, but it would be interesting to see why is it just curiosity?
你好，你好，您觉得摸摸它能带来幸运吗？摸摸它能带来运气吗？ So they just tell us they just are being curious about these things, because this is even a status is rare in China. I mean, I think it's most of them you could find in the imperial places.
So this mythical creature did it have any? Would it come here to protect the emperor, or just to give fortune? Because you were just focused on fortune and
I think it's more like a symbol,
right?
Because people, well, if I can say this, in old times, they just superstitiously believe that they could bring fortune, bring luck,
right?
And also for the emperor, this thing bears another meaning. There's once you could spot one of those things on on Earth,
right?
It would mean that the heaven and the god approved your rule, because it would send this as an agent to bring that message to the emperor.
Okay.
That's why I think each emperor would be desperate to have one of those spotted and reported to him, and just to be happy that, okay, so now the god in the heaven has sent his messenger to tell me I did.
And then when
right.
they cannot find it, they just built it.
I don't know if that would probably.
This is like me trying to simplify it.
Yeah. So now we're standing beneath a very beautiful train of flowers. I think that that would bring us to the very end of this. Oh, please don't hurt it. Don't hurt it.
I'm not hurting it. I'm just smelling it.
Yeah, you're just smelling
Smell
it.
the flower.
You're smelling for the audience who may not have the opportunity at the moment to come to.
But they can always come to the Forbidden City.
So this beautiful flower scent then will bring us to the very end of this episode of the spring outing with the CGTN Live, and also the last episode of the entire series. Yes, but for the past few weeks, we've bring you to the Botanical Garden south of Beijing, and also a beautiful railway for the bullet train, which would go through your north all the way through a beautiful forest of flowers. And now we will end the entire series here at the Forbidden City, the Palace Museum, because
the Imperial Garden.
Exactly, because the culture aspect of it. But by no means they are the only 3 places in Beijing you can visit in spring days. But if you like to find more, there are 2 ways. First, come to visit on your own or with your families, and this would be the marvelous place for the holiday. Yeah, that is the Chinese word for come and come. And the second word is
to comment on our new media platforms, Facebook, Weibo, Twitter, WeChat, wherever you guys have access to CGTN Digital. Comment about the places that you want to go to and we'll do it on your behalf. So we'll bring the world to you.
Yeah, to just a finger away from you.
One click away.
Yeah, thank you for your company all the way with us. And don't forget to stay tuned to CGTN for more news and more beautiful journeys like this. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.